Welcome, Virgo, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 29th of June for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead first, Virgo. On screen is your event chart as we enter the week. I'll unpack that. It's always influential. I'll then go through each of the influences in detail. By the end of the video, you'll have a clear picture of what's upcoming in terms of your vitality, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So right at the end of last week, Mars, the planet of action, the planet of desire, the planet of individuality, moved into the most visible part of your chart. There he is. And that is exceptional for really focusing on your goals and ambitions over the next 6 weeks. But also, as we go into this new week, Mercury, your ruler, goes into a retrograde through to the 23rd of July. What's the implication? The moon moves forwards and goes into an opposition with the sun later on Monday, a full moon. How will that play out? I feel that you may have to juggle your time. A lot of people may want a piece of you. But then on Tuesday, Jupiter moves into the sign of Leo. Now, Jupiter in Leo can be very flamboyant, but for you, it's in a very sheltered, more psychological area for the next 13 months. What's it all going to mean? So let's start with your ruler. So Mercury going into a retrograde in the 11th house, it may be some of your long-term plans could change, but you may encounter some blockages or snags, but it may actually be you who changes your mind. There could also be a lot of alterations around meeting up with friends in a more social context. But that Mars right at the top of your chart is fantastic if you are wanting to reach an audience. Get in touch with someone influential, pitch for a new job, get that influential client. Mars is going to help you to strut your stuff in a much more authoritative way over these next 6 weeks. But because Mars immediately meets the planet of restlessness, but also innovation, if you have got different ideas, this week is fabulous to really go for it. Have absolute belief in what you're trying to do. It's just that Jupiter moves into your 12th house on Tuesday. It forges a brilliant link to Mars. And in a way, Jupiter's saying to you, Jupiter can be about knowledge and information. If you gather knowledge in a discrete way, it can still have an impact in a more public or visible way. But the full moon, which occurs on Monday, is in the 11th house, which can be about friendships, can be about those social meetups. But the moon will be in the 5th house, which is much more to do with what you want as an individual. If some of your connections, associations, or friendships are not really helping you to flow and express yourself quite as much as you want, it's possible that you may rethink there too. Back to Mars, Mars clashes with the nodal axis. And if doing something different or bold doesn't quite work for someone you're connected to at the moment, it could cause tensions. And also know that the Sun is in a square with Neptune as we go into this week. And again, that could be a little bit of confusion about certain friendships or associations, or whether you feel one long-term relationship is really the right thing to continue with. But Neptune can create distortion and confusion. So you may be better to wait a few days before making any firm decisions if you're not quite sure. Now, Venus, the planet of relating, is, as Jupiter will be from Tuesday, in that secluded 12th house, but forges a solid link to Saturn in the 8th house. If you are someone who's pretty canny with your resources, think the things that you've been doing quietly can be shaping up very nicely in a way which has given you a lot of confidence. If you want to change your job, you're not really feeling it is for you for the longer term, Pluto's link to Mars and Uranus is very, very helpful indeed. Jupiter brings in perhaps a more psychological understanding, but Pluto here is just nudging you to accept there is going to be a change, and it's been going on for a year and a half. But Mars really is the ignition point for what can be a very powerful week for being more ambitious, being more self-confident about what you can achieve, and perhaps having the confidence to change out of something that you've been very familiar with for some time and doing something fresh. But as I said, there may be some people who will be a bit disappointed, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. I'm going to summarize those 4 areas of vitality: work, relationships, and finances next to Virgo, just to slash the price of my personal horoscope reports. Now, 3 for the price of 1. For many years, it was buy 2, get 30% off. Your life roadmap report helps us to understand the patterns that play out in our lives. Your 12 months transit helps you to understand when to make moves. And the Draconic chart helps you to understand a deeper, more karmic version of astrology, but all totally unique to you. Please see the link below for more. If you've yet to watch your July monthly forecast, that's on the screen, along with the Jupiter into Leo deep dive 13-month forecast. Please click on the eye on the screen, and that will take you to the videos. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be a pleasure. And if you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link below for that too. So as far as energy is concerned, I think Pluto in that 6th house is almost really encouraging you to adapt and do different things with diet and exercise and routines. You have a real appreciation of routines, but I think they can sometimes be a little bit enclosing. The other part of energy that could be draining is if you've got people around you or one particular person, maybe a friend, it could be romantic, who you feel is a bit controlling, but maybe uses some, hard to pin down approaches to draining your energy. Neptune in the square to the sun, just consider that. As far as your professional situation is concerned, if you're up to go for it and be more dynamic, there's a lot to like. But with Mercury, of course, in the retrograde, precision around communication is vital. As far as your love life is concerned, that Mars right at the top of your chart is clashing with the North Node in your 7th house. If you're wanting something really bad professionally, it could have an impact on your personal life. That could be something you're looking for a partner to support. But in terms of a deeper relationship, the 8th house can be more about intimacy. So the big question there is, do you see that person with you absolutely for the longer term? As far as finances are concerned, having Saturn and Neptune both in the 8th house, that shared finances, those areas will require structure and also imagination over the next couple of years in particular. But I think it's important to really get clear on what your specific strategy is, if you like, the longer term plan. If you're clear on that, I think that can be very helpful to you. And if you have been working on something patiently behind the scenes for a long time with your finances, Venus in the link with Saturn suggests some good news could come through this week in particular. It's been a great pleasure being with you, Virgo. Have a brilliant week. All the best and goodbye.